I am the unofficially dubbed Cope Counter, and I wanted to kind of walk through my thought process as to how to efficiently record all of Rainbolt's copes. Yes, it is a daunting task over the course of a video, and kind of walk you through, how we can extract some of these nuggets of gold from this 8 minute long feature presentation of the day. So let's just do a sample run of how we might actually go through and compute the cope counter.
It's another day of some juke.
Okay, so first thing to notice is that Rainbolt has opened up his mouth. As soon as Rainbolt opens up his mouth, there is a good opportunity for a cope. So you want to be sure to listen in and catch any kind of self-reflective, revisionist language that may come out of his mouth.
You guys here. Hopefully today is a good
I'm
day.
going to skip forward a little bit to where he whiffs his first guess.
Literally, London can... Okay, I guess Ireland for this. We have a White House, Gen 2, surely.
This is the Rainbolt blink, or Rainbolt nod, or Rainbolt shake, as I like to call it. As soon as Rainbolt is unhappy with one of his guesses, he has these instinctive facial reactions that are usually telltale signs of potential coping. And as this video, we can see,
Literally, London can...
coping ensues. Now, it doesn't always manifest in a true top cope. Just saying that London can incomplete sentence isn't necessarily sufficient for a top cope. But these are areas of high promise from which quality copes can be extracted.
I guess I go Finland, like northern Finland. Do I want to commit way north, though, is a question. Nah, I'll go somewhere like down here.
There it is again. You see the slight nod, the movement in the eyes, the expression of visible disappointment that usually precedes a cope.
Dude, one of these days I'll follow my this is free.
That right there, that nugget, one of these days I'll follow mine, is a pretty good sub-cope, is a fractional cope. If I'm feeling particularly adventurous, I can turn that into a cope on the list. But usually I'm only going to include those on the list if I don't get a good number of copes up to that point in the video.
Actually, you know what? I'm so based, I'm just going to find the road real quick.
Hinty doesn't actually find a road. He goes searching in Ireland, and he's in the wrong side of the country. Yet again, you can see kind of the clenching of the jaws, the movement of the head, the blink, the snicker, and you know a cope might very well be coming out the pipe.
This is not good luck.
In situations where the coper admits defeat, admits ineptitude, or admits a poor showing, I generally don't like to include it on the cope counter because it's not really a cope, it's more brutal honesty. However, these kinds of reactions can often surround quality copes, to the point where when you see these reactions, you're kind of on high alert for potential coping.
Is that the like Luzon Tuk Tuk right there where it's like different elevated height thingy? I'm gonna act like it is because I think it could be like something up here. I think it counts. I think that goes there. Okay.
In situations like that, where he clearly demonstrates skill and does better than what could be expected of the vast majority of players in a given round, I generally don't like to record it as a cope. In that situation, I legitimately believe him that maybe that tuk-tuk actually appears on an island, and the island that I guess would be a reasonably solid guess. And again, you don't quite see the same visual reactions as you would leading up to a cope. So that's a situation where I probably wouldn't include it.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
And again, in that situation, he scored nearly 2,100 points. Just saying that's pretty good is probably not something I would put down as a cope. But if he had instead a score of, I don't know, 16,000, then that would be potentially cope material.
Actually, no, it's not. I fumbled. I lost like 3,000 points in the UK today, or like the shitty countries over here. I'm sorry.
Okay. As soon as Rainbolt begins discussion of his losses, his bad rounds, his whiffs, you are yet again in high cope potential areas. You are looking at high potential for copes, because he will try to talk himself into believing that no, in fact, my guesses were good, or the rounds were just ridiculous, or no one would ever go this here, or I would go this here in the very next round. Something of that nature. So as soon as he discusses anything negative relating to his performance, coping is high alert.
I mean, okay, what was this, Iowa? Dude, I thought this, I don't know why. Does this not feel like oddly, you're like but like, does this not feel like weirdly European? Like this tree line right here on the edge of the property just felt like super European to me. Iowa though. I don't think I go Iowa though. Maybe I go Iowa. I don't mind my Kansas guess or Missouri, wherever I went, but let's just do a Rainbolt world. Let me paste that link.
Now, the 10-second challenges generally offer less time available for copes, but there is an increased probability of a very high quality cope, because the 10-second timer puts substantial pressure on Mr. Rainbolt, to the point where he will occasionally either completely whiff a guess or fail to guess at all. And we actually see that in this round.
Lock in, lock in, lock in.
Generally, the more lock-ins, he says, the less he locks in, the more likely he is to choke round 4 or potentially round 5.
This came.
And I'm kind of skipping forward to...
Dude, that's actually such a giveable problem.
Oh, one other thing I thought I should mention. Whenever you look at a country such as Argentina, such as Thailand, such as the Philippines or Indonesia, with distinct regions that Rainbolt will often play rounds in, he will often complain about having a gettable region or a gettable province or a gettable location. For example, a certain region of Argentina. So when you see him off in these countries, but still within the country's borders, a regional cope is reasonably likely to follow. So keeping your eyes peeled in these situations is very important.
I'm actually literally, that's such a gettable province. That was a great guess.
And we saw right there, that's such a gettable province, quality cope.
Oh, we have another Thailand.
And here is an example of the
I guess you just go
timeout.
Bangkok here, to be honest.
Whoops.
Like, unironically, I think you just go Bangkok. It looks like it could be like outside Bangkok.
Now this facial expression, this is a nearly 100% hit rate on the cope counter. As soon as you see this come out, there will be a cope. It may not be immediate. It may be until, when he ultimately reviews all of his rounds that he gets around to coping on this. But the cope is real. And as you'll see here, he just doesn't even bother commenting.
I forgot it's fucking 10 seconds. Oh my god.
Chair gaming,
Dude.
more chair, more cope, chair,
What just happened,
cope,
bro?
sieve.
And the thing about that too is that, like, dude, I literally wanted to go here so... I'm coping now. Oh my god, I gotta stop coping.
Oftentimes, for some of the top copes, he will recognize that there is a cope before he continues the cope. These are some of the true peak copes, because he has fully committed to incurring the cost of adding one to the cope counter, is now looking to get the most out of his coping. So when you see a self-recognized cope, that is the start of a true gold streak for the next few seconds.
I'm actually upset. I'm not kidding. Calm down. It's okay.
Unfortunately, in this case, a lot of it appears to have been cut out, but in many past episodes, you could get a good 20 or 30 seconds straight of just raw, unfiltered cope. And those are the moments that, as a cope counter, you truly live for.
Just a map game. It's just a map game.
At the end of rounds, especially when you see the famous round 4 or round 5 choke, the decision to downplay the stakes, to downplay the nature of the game, the nature of a challenge, those decisions can be another fertile ground for some truly quality copes. And when you see the same body language of looking away from a window, touching the face, all the classical signs of discomfort or aversion or all that stuff, it's almost uncanny how often a cope will follow.
Do I need to seek psychological help because of map game? Maybe.
No, you don't. We love you just the way you are. And the copes.
There's no way, bro.
Yet again,
Dude,
the touching of the
I'm
face.
actually more mad at Dingo. I'm not sure. Than
touching of a face, looking away from a camera, all good indicators of coping.
the fact that I just whatever, dude.
Now, once Rainbolt gets into scores and leaderboards, coping becomes a lot rarer as he simply dissects where top players went. In situations where the rounds were difficult and he missed, there is sometimes good copes to be found, and you can often find quality copes about where he finished on the leaderboard. But in the actual analysis of these rounds, generally it's a relatively dry spot for coping.
Cool, calm, and collected. It's extremely basic. It looks so Baltic, okay?
So I'm going to kind of skip through these, most of these rounds here and look for the missed Thailand round at the very end. Because again, more likely to... rounds where he underperforms are the best places to find copes. And the Thailand is kind of the epitome of that.
You do the math. Give me 5,000 points. That's a free...
There it is again. You see, if I got it down in Thailand, if I got those points, where would I have been on the leaderboard? Yeah, sure, Rainbolt.
Go.
Right on cue. And then you have the additions of the scores on leaderboards. Generally speaking, minimal copes
Trickster
here.
getting 13. Gorka getting...
unless he's falling behind on his own map. But yeah.
5. It's 5 and... I'll see you guys.
So that's about it. Thank you for watching the Cope Counters Guide. And hopefully we'll see you in the comment section at some point in the future. How do I stop this shit?